Hi everyone and welcome back. So I want to talk today about my other House of Colour appointment that I've had done recently. I've had a style analysis appointment. So it's going to be a little bit of a chatty video, a place for me to just kind of dump all of my thoughts about this process and try and kind of figure out how to use all of this information moving forwards. So I've always loved makeup. I love watching people put on their makeup. I used to watch my mum do it, and I love shopping for makeup. I love looking at all the different new products, testing them out, looking at all the different colours and the packaging. I'm quite a kind of visual person, I think, so I just love the colourful side of makeup. I just find it so satisfying, and I love putting on makeup. I love wearing makeup. For me, it's the thing that I do for myself. It's me time putting on my makeup, and even on random days I'll just randomly like go through my makeup collection and just look at it all. So I've always loved makeup. Fashion, however, I've kind of always been a little bit interested in it. So when I would buy magazines as a teenager, I would look at the fashion content, but the magazine had to have some makeup content in it as well. It couldn't be a purely fashion magazine. If I watched any programs on the TV, like those makeover programs, or even programs like Lorraine in This Morning, I would watch the fashion segments, but I've never really been that into fashion, and I've never really kind of fully taken on board all of the advice, but I've always appreciated it. But it wasn't until a few years ago, when I was in a previous job, that I started to really get into fashion, and in particular colour analysis. And I've been trying to figure out for quite some time now what my colour season was, and along that process of trying to figure out what my colour season was, what colours worked best for me, and also what style of clothes as well suited me best, I stumbled upon House of Colour. So I finally bit the bullet. I plucked up the courage to book myself an appointment, and a few days before Christmas I had my colour analysis video, and I've put up a video about that where I've kind of explained the process, I've revealed what season I am, and I've kind of done a couple of other makeup videos around that as well. So I am a House of Colour autumn. I am an autumn leaf in particular, so I am those very stereotypical colours you associate with autumn. So moss greens, burnt oranges, ambers, rusts, mustard yellow as well, those real true authentic stereotypical autumn colours. That is my season. And when I was at my colour analysis appointment, my consultant said that House of Colour do also offer a style appointment, and in my head I just went, yeah, could be interesting. And I hadn't actually considered having a style appointment with House of Colour until she had said that. And it started to make me think, you know, hang on, that the colour analysis appointment has helped me discover what colour season I am. So maybe the style appointment will help me figure out finally, for once, what my body architecture is, what the best lines will fit me, and I can kind of put a descriptor, a word or a catchphrase or something on what my clothing personality is. Because I have been trying to figure out as well, when I stumbled upon colour season analysis, I also stumbled upon Kibbe body typing as well. So I have been trying to figure out over the past couple of years what my Kibbe body analysis is, and I have also put up a video about that as well, about what I think my Kibbe style is. So I've seen so many videos on TikTok and YouTube about Kibbe, all of the different body types, and I've tried to figure out for myself what I think I am. But like when I was trying to figure out what colour season I am very, very bad at looking at myself objectively and going, right, your hair colour is this shade, your skin tone is this shade, you have long limbs, you've got a short torso, you've got wide shoulders or whatever. I am very bad at looking at myself and trying to figure that out. So I really need somebody else to look at me and say, yes, you have this, you don't have this, this is how your body structure is made up, this is what your skin tone looks like, this is what colour season you are, this is what style personality you are. Now, the style appointment is more expensive than the colour analysis one, so I was a bit like, oh, do I want to spend that bit more money on that appointment? But these sessions are brilliant at providing you with a concrete answer, and also providing you with peace of mind as well. I know now what my colour season is, and I also know now what my clothing personality is. So moving forwards, it's going to make it so much easier when it comes to buying makeup and to buying clothes as well, because I have that knowledge of what colours work for me, but also what my style is as well. So I decided to book myself that style appointment then. So I had my colour one a few days before Christmas, and then I had my style one at the start of February. So on the day that I'm recording this, I had my style appointment about 9 days ago. So it's still quite fresh. I'm still trying to process all of the information. There's a lot to kind of take on board in those style appointments. So as I mentioned, the style appointment is a bit more expensive than the colour analysis appointment, but it is also longer as well. I think with the colour appointment it was 3 hours, but with the style appointment it's 4 hours. So I'll just sort of talk through that appointment and what was involved in it. So with the colour appointment, you had to go with no perfume on, no makeup, contact lenses in, no fake tan, anything, just real like bare minimum. But with the style appointment, I had my makeup on, I was dressed in my right colours, and I just arrived wearing what I would usually wear on a day-to-day basis as well, because I wanted to arrive authentically. I wanted to look like the day-to-day version of myself. So on the day they give you a style booklet. This is yours to take home for the day, and it contains a lot of information about how you want to be perceived, your objectives for the day. It's got some information about your body, yourself, so your body proportions, face shape, things like that. And then it's got some information in here as well about finding the right kind of clothes that suit your lifestyle, suit your work balance, things like that. And then just some tips on to create a capsule wardrobe. So we started off with looking at my objectives for the day, and I said that my objectives were to find my personal style, because I don't really know what my personal style is. I don't really know what clothes best suit me, what style of sort of neckline best suits me, whether I should be wearing my clothes tucked into my trousers or not, what sort of jewellery best suits me. I suppose how to best present myself. And I wanted to get a bit more confidence as well. Where I wear makeup to feel a little bit more confident, I want to kind of do the same thing with clothes as well. So when I make a bit more of an effort with my clothes, that does give me some more confidence. So I want that to become like a regular thing as well. And I also said that for my other objective, I wanted to look like the best version of me. So my style journey isn't about copying somebody else's style and looking like somebody else. I'm not thinking I want to look like that person or I want to look like that person. I want to look like the best version of me. And then sort of following on from that, she then spoke to me about what kind of key words do I associate with how I want to be perceived by others. So there's a page in here where there's some words, and then I had to circle the words that I want to be perceived by as others. So my words were things like polished, feminine, authentic, stylish, and then I had a few words like pretty, attractive and beautiful. And I don't mean that as from like an arrogant point of view. That kind of comes back to the confidence. I would like to, I suppose, be perceived as attractive or pretty by other people, because that does actually make me feel a bit more confident. If other people think that I look good, if I think I look good, it does help with my confidence and self-esteem. So I did kind of have to explain that one to her. I felt like I kind of had to explain why I had circled a few words like that. And then the other word that I circled was put together. And this one was interesting, because when me and my friend talk about fashion and style and kind of trying to look the best version of ourselves, the key word that we always refer back to is put together. Both of us will always say, I want to look put together. So it was interesting that that word was there. That was a key one. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, that is me. That definitely is a key word in this style evolution of mine. I want to look put together. So we went through a couple of other sort of sections as well. We looked at sort of points of interest, and points of interest in House of Colour are things that add interest to your outfit. So you can put on your clothes and leave it like that, but sometimes that can look a little bit basic, a little bit sort of boring, I suppose, in a way. A way to add a bit of life and a bit of interest to your style, to your outfit, is to add things like jewellery. So I've got some rings on, I've got earrings in, I've got my necklace on, I've got makeup on. On the day I did have nail varnish, but I've taken that off as well. It's also things like glasses. I have my glasses on as well, but I film with contact lenses. Are you wearing a belt, shoes, handbag? Little details like that that can really help to make an outfit come alive. So that's really helpful to remember. So if I feel like my outfits are looking a little bit boring, accessories play a huge part in making your outfit just look that little bit more interesting. And then we went on to body geometrics. So this was all about measuring my body, trying to figure out whether I'm long limbed, whether I've got a short torso, what my face shape is, things like that. So the top I was wearing, it was quite a tight fitting top, so that was fine, but I then changed into some leggings, and they need you to wear sort of like skin tight, like figure hugging clothes, so they can really sort of see the proportions of your body. So I sort of stood up in front of her, kept kind of like turning to the side so she could get a full 360 of my body. She measured me as well, so she measured, I think, the top of my head to my armpit, armpit to my hip, hip to knee, knee to foot as well, I think, to kind of see how in proportion each kind of like section of my body was. And that is the information in here that I am gonna keep referring back to, and I think I have to write this down separately so I kind of got it to hand. So with my body, she initially did sort of say my top half of my body is quite sort of triangular, because from the back my shoulders do kind of go straight down to my waist, but she then decided that actually I'm more oblong on top but with that kind of curve in, because with a triangle it's very like sharp straight angles, whereas I've got like a softness. So although I've got like wide shoulders, they aren't really like square and narrow, they do have a curve to them. So I've got this like curved triangle into an oblong sort of shape. And then on my bottom half, I'm what they call full curved and round. That's just because my bottom half is my widest part of my body, my hips are my widest part of my body. And also this actually really made me laugh. She sort of said to me, she was like, do you know how many people, myself included, would kill to have a bum like yours? And I just thought that was so funny. So yeah, she really likes my bum. I've got a nice like rounded bum, which is good. So from that, I kind of have two different geometrics in my body. So my top half is that sort of a soft oblong that kind of has this triangular shape, but it is sort of soft, so it's more of that kind of oblong hourglass sort of shape. And then my bottom half with my hips and my bum are more kind of rounded. So overall she decided that my body shape was soft straight, because I do have this sort of like straight body, but it does come in at the waist. But then we said a little bit that I am soft curved on the bottom, because my bum and my hips does come out that little bit more. And what also was interesting is that she took measurements of my bust, my waist and my hips, but she said something along the lines of, I'm not gonna read this out. So that was quite kind of reassuring. So if you are wanting to have this kind of appointment but you don't really want to know what your waist measurement is, what your hip measurement is, if that's potentially triggering to you, it was really quite comforting that she didn't say aloud what those numbers are. So there's no kind of shaming or judgment at all about what your body measurements are. She made a note of it so she could then tell me, you know, whether I am long-legged, whether my body's in proportion, whether I've got a small bust or a big bust. So there is no judgment involved in these measurements being taken. And she even said later on, it's not to do with your body size and numbers, it's to do with your body shape. So that was quite a positive part of that experience. I really did appreciate that. I thought that was a very nice touch. So she then sort of talked through my body proportion, and these are the things that I found really interesting and things that I have to remember moving forwards and getting dressed on a day-to-day basis. So she then gave some information about things like bust to hip ratio. So I'm small busted, and then with my body as well, I am long-legged, and that kind of did make me chuckle a little bit, because my boyfriend does refer to me as Mr. Tickle, because I've got like long arms and long legs, so I am long-limbed. And then there's some information in here as well about the type of necklines to wear, how much cleavage to show, jacket length, skirt length, boot length, details, things like that. Now, because my hips are the widest part of my body, the recommendations are to not draw attention to the widest part of your body, because I suppose the aim is to create proportion and to create balance. So with things like jackets, blazers, ideally I want to not be wearing blazers that sort of end at my widest part, so I need them to sort of stop a couple of inches above it or a couple of inches below it. Also things like shorts, like short shorts, if they kind of stop near the widest part of my hip, that's a no-no as well. And things like no detailing around the hips as well, because that's going to draw the eye to the widest part of my body. So for me and my body shape, it's about sort of showing that I've got these kind of like nice strong shoulders, but because I'm sort of small busted and my smallest measurement is from my armpit to my hip, I shouldn't be cluttering this area. So I shouldn't be wearing like lots of frills, lots of ruffles. So keeping this part, like my torso, sort of nice and plain. Waist emphasis is good for myself as well, so having clothes that sort of like taper in at the waist as well. If I want to wear a belt, I can wear a belt at the waist or a little bit below the waist, but not on the hips. And then things like my skirt and dress length and the boots that I'm wearing, nothing should be sort of above the knee, and some of that plays into your clothing personality as well, which is what I want to talk about next. So she sent out an email about a week or so before my appointment, and in the email it says to bring along one piece of clothing that you love, one piece of clothing that you hate, and then about 5 or 6 pieces of clothing that best sort of represent your wardrobe. So I think the clothes that I chose to best represent my wardrobe were sort of some jumpers like this. I think I had a pair of jeans. I think I had a kind of a thick knit cardigan, and then the piece of clothing that I said that I hated was a sort of like halter neck, very thin spaghetti strap halter neck, cool blue floral long dress that I said that I felt a bit chunky in. I didn't feel like it best fitted my body shape. And then the piece of clothing that I said that I loved were my high-waisted, elasticated waist, wide leg, flowy red trousers. So from that, she sort of got the feeling that I wear a lot of separates within my wardrobe, and I do. I'm not very much a jumpsuit, playsuit, dress type of person. I am a top and trousers person. Sometimes a top and skirt person, but not often. I do like to go for sort of tops like this and some comfortable trousers, and I like to keep things plain as well. I don't wear a lot of print. I have 2 floral print dresses that I tend to kind of only wear on special occasion. I do have a striped top as well. I've got a couple of like striped tops, Breton tops, and I do like leopard print as well, but it isn't very often that I wear print. I do go for plain clothes because I feel like that's very easy. It helps me to pair clothes together as well and create an outfit if the clothing is plain and doesn't really have much going on in the way of like texture and print. So we then went through some sort of questions associated with my personality as well. So they take that information about your personality and your body proportions to come up with what they call a clothing personality. And it's kind of similar to the Kibbe body typing. So with House of Colour there are 6. You've got dramatic, classic, natural, gamine, ingenue and romantic. And you will be a combination of 2 of them. On the rare occasion, a combination of 2 plus 1 a little bit, but more often than not you'll be a combination of 2. So I think that means there's something like 23 or 29 different outcomes you can be. And I did have a bit of an idea as to what I would be beforehand. I thought I might be a bit of a classic, a bit of a natural, but maybe a bit of romantic going in there as well. But if we were going off Kibbe body typing, then I would be a dramatic natural, because I'm pretty sure if we go by the Kibbe body typing, I'm a flamboyant natural, which is natural with a dramatic undercurrent. But now that I know what my House of Colour clothing personality is, I'm kind of disregarding Kibbe. I'm going to purely go off what House of Colour say. So my consultant then kind of looked through the answers in that clothing personality quiz along with my measurements, and then she read out some sort of key words associated with the clothing personality as well. And there was one in particular that she read out every single descriptor of that clothing personality, and I was going, yep, 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 that's me. And it turns out that my clothing personality is a natural classic. And she gave me some information here about natural classics. So the terms, the phrases to kind of bear in mind with this clothing personality are things like easy elegance, well-groomed, casually classy, smart casual, less is more, and this is definitely me. I want to look like the best version of me. I want to look put together, but I don't want it to look like I have tried too hard. I want it to look that it has come easily to me. And I like it to be sort of understated as well. So some of the words associated with classic are things like tailored, sophisticated, real jewellery. The real jewellery is definitely key as well. I've got quite a large jewellery collection, I would say, and 99% of it is real gemstones. I do like sort of like collecting lots of different real gemstones. And then natural are things like unstructured, easy, comfortable, and that is definitely key as well. I want to be comfortable in what I'm wearing, but I also want it to look presentable. And with this, she gave me some information as well about how this relates to things like your hair, your accessories, and then different aspects of all of your clothing as well, and then things to avoid. So things like hair, it's having well cut layers or elegant updos, and she said that the 2 times that she's seen me, my hair has always looked very neat and very groomed. And I did say to her, all I do is brush it. I don't do anything else with my hair. 1, because I suck at doing my hair, and 2, because I can't be bothered. And I suppose that's the natural in me, that kind of, oh, I can't really be bothered, I'll just let it do what it wants to do. But it's nice that it kind of conforms to that kind of classic appearance, in that it's quite sleek, quite silky. I think it's shiny as well. My hair is in pretty good condition at the moment as well. So that was a bonus, that my hair, left to its own devices, falls within that kind of natural classic style. And then we went through things like accessories and scale. So for myself, it's about having medium scale, where my sort of body size, body proportions is medium. So I'm not really petite. I'm 5'7.5", so I'm a little bit tall, and I've got like a medium scale body. So medium scale accessories, so jewellery for example. So my rings, I've got a few rings on today. No fewer than this, but then I don't need really big rings, lots of stacker rings as well, rings on every single finger, that would be too much for me. Earrings, classic stud earrings in like a real stone as well, a simple pendant. And then with scale in clothing, it's medium scale again, so not really big prints, but they're not really tiny prints as well. So when I got back from my appointment, I did another sort of wardrobe declutter, because after my colour appointment I went through my wardrobe and separated them into colours in my season and not in my season, and I hadn't decluttered many of the colours that weren't in my season, so that's what I did after the style appointment. And then I also double checked some of them as well, and sort of thought, well, are these in my style or not? Realistically, am I going to wear them? I haven't worn them in months, sometimes years, so let's pass them on. And the next thing that I want to do is have a bit of a wardrobe inventory, so sort of write down everything that I own in my wardrobe as well, and sort of see how that corresponds to the capsule wardrobe information that House of Colour provide in that booklet. But also what's interesting is that there is something called a lookbook with House of Colour, where you upload a picture of every single piece of clothing that you own, so you can see all of it, and then your consultant can kind of piece together items within your wardrobe to create outfits. And these outfits will align with your clothing personality as well. And like with the colour analysis appointment, you don't leave your style appointment and that is it. My consultant has emailed me, she's linked me with some Facebook groups to join. I'm also following some people on Instagram, some House of Colour consultants that have that natural classic clothing personality, so I can kind of look at what they wear and sort of get some inspiration from that as well. I am following a few natural classic autumns. There's not many of them, but the ones that I have found I am following. And she also sent me a list as well of lots of different retailers that fit the natural classic clothing personality, and then for some of them as well she has said, you know, this shop is particularly good for outerwear, this shop is particularly good for occasion wear, and that's going to be really handy because I have a wedding in January that I definitely need to buy an outfit for. So there is a lot of information involved in that style appointment, and for me, where being stylish and being fashionable doesn't come particularly naturally to me, it's going to take a lot more time to sort of put all of this information into practice than it was with the colour analysis appointment. That made a lot more sense in my mind, that kind of clicked straight away. I came home and was able to sort of separate my makeup, separate my clothes by colour. But with the style, it is going to be a style evolution. It is going to be this kind of longer process to really make sure and to ensure as well that all the clothes that I have and how I style myself every day fits in with my natural classic clothing personality. And also, I don't think I said as well, I feel very comfortable being a natural classic. It is me to a T. It is definitely how I have been dressing as well, and that's another thing my consultant said. She was like, well, judging by how you're dressed today, judging by the clothes that you've brought in with you, you're doing it anyway. You're dressing to that natural classic style. So it's just making sure that I sort of stick with that. I expand on that, but then I also incorporate my autumn colours into it as well. So I think what I want to do next is I want to do that wardrobe inventory. I want to see how much of my wardrobe correlates to a capsule wardrobe that they recommend, sort of see where the gaps are in my wardrobe as well, what kind of key pieces I need to sort of add into my wardrobe. And then I also want to note down the key things from the colour analysis appointment, and also the key things associated with being a natural classic. And I don't know if you guys are like this, but when I write something down, it helps it stick in my mind a bit more as well. So I want to take some time to do that. So yeah, there's a lot involved in both of these appointments. So for myself, I found both of them extremely beneficial. If you're not very good at sort of looking at yourself and trying to figure out what your colour is, or what your clothing personality is, what clothes and styles and shapes and lines best suit you, then I really would recommend these 2 appointments. They have been a wealth of information, and I am really excited to sort of see how my journey with this sort of continues. But what I will say though is, if you are pretty clued up as to what clothing best suits you, what flatters you the most, if you know what your kind of your widest part of your body is, what your smallest part is, whether you've got a long torso, short torso, long legs or whatever, if you are pretty knowledgeable about that already, then you probably don't need the style appointment. But for me, it really was worthwhile. So a lot to take on board and a lot to kind of process moving forwards, but I'm looking forward to it, and I do want to start documenting it that bit more as well. I have started documenting the colour part of it on my Instagram, but need to start documenting more the style part of it as well. So this was a bit of a rambly video, wasn't it? Hopefully this has kind of made some sense. This has just been a bit of an outlet for me to kind of brain dump my kind of process so far with it, my thoughts on those 2 appointments, and what I want to do moving forwards with it. So yeah, hopefully it's been interesting to watch. If you yourself have had a House of Colour style and or colour appointment, please let me know what your results are below. If you've got any tips or tricks or any advice moving forwards with all of this as well, I'd really appreciate it. But thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you again very soon for my next one. Bye.